Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, tonight, there was drama at Heathrow Airport when one of KQ airplanes was actually on mid-air intercepted by the UK Royal Air. And also, we do have some stories for you from Turkana, where the president has his official visit. And in business, Ochum will be taking you all the way to Lake Victoria. In sports, we have lots of sporting action, including a story from Turkana. That and more coming up shortly. But first, let's have the highlights. UK's Royal Air Force intercepts Kenya Airways plane mid-air, diverts it from landing at Heathrow Airport over suspected bomb threat.
We are making tremendous positive progress, and we seem to have arrived at consensus.
Azimio and Kenya Kwanza agree on the creation of the office of Prime Minister and that of Leader of Official Opposition.
Tuko na mpango tayari. In the next 3 weeks, tunakamilisha training ya National Police Reserve ambao watakuja kusaidiana na askari wetu kushughulikia hawa wakora.
And making Turkana shine and grow, President Ruto promises Turkana of security, new administrative units, and lots of money during Turkana's tourism and cultural festival. Welcome back. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. And remember, we would love to hear from you. You can send us your comments on our social media pages. That includes Instagram and also Twitter and Facebook. Our page is KBC Channel 1. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition and Kenya Kwanza Alliance members of the National Dialogue Committee have agreed to adopt the proposal seeking the creation of the office of the Leader of the Official Opposition and Prime Minister. The two sides have, however, differed on the legal process to establish the new offices, as Azimio la Umoja Coalition warns of suffering of the same fate as the BBI in court if the right process is not followed. Giverson Maina has the story for you.
Raila Odinga led Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition and President William Ruto led Kenya Kwanza Alliance on Thursday made a breakthrough in the initial phase of the bipartisan talks between the government and the opposition.
We are making tremendous positive progress in our dialogue, and we foresee us being able to conclude this process in due course.
Both sides in the National Dialogue Committee nodded to the proposal to establish new offices, the office of the Leader of the Opposition and the office of Prime Minister.
We have agreed by and large on the issue of the 2/3 gender rule, on the establishment of funds and the establishment of the offices of the Prime Cabinet Secretary and that of the official Leader of Opposition.
Kenya Kwanza, however, proposed that the position be entrenched in the law through constitutional amendments by the Parliament.
There may be a possibility that we'll be able to conclude that process within the 60 days that was given to us by Parliament. But should that not be the case, we should be able to evaluate that from tomorrow, and next we can be able to inform you on the way forward.
Azimio la Umoja Coalition, however, warned that it may require a referendum and could face a legal setback in court akin to the BBI.
And we seem to have arrived at consensus in those 4 areas with no much difficulty at all. And the work is continuing.
The two political outfits also agreed on the entrenchment of CDF in the constitution.
We have also agreed on issues touching on political parties' fidelity and we shall be reconvening tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to look into the other issues.
The committee is expected to meet again tomorrow as they seek consensus on the issues requiring a parliamentary route and those requiring a referendum.
We are expectant that at the end of the day, we are going to be able to reach consensus on all the issues. On all the issues, really.
However, sources indicate that the contentious IBC recruitment and the elections results audit could be tackled in the last phase of the negotiations. Giverson Minor, Prime Edition.
Kenya Airways flight KQ-100 from Nairobi to London Heathrow was momentarily intercepted Thursday by the UK's Royal Air Force in a move that saw temporarily air traffic disruption on the busy Heathrow International Air route. The plane was instructed to divert to the Stansted Airport instead of continuing on Heathrow after word of potential threat on board the flight. Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has defended the government's commitment to deploy 1,000 police officers in Haiti. Appearing before the National Assembly Security Committee, CS Kindiki said Kenya's security agencies have previously successfully participated in peacekeeping missions and there was no concern over the capacity of Kenya police. Professor Kindiki, however, said no deployment will happen until legal requirements are met.
As the nation remains divided over the government's decision to deploy 1,000 police officers to Haiti, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki appeared before the National Assembly Security Committee to defend the decision.
We have already dispatched an assessment team to Haiti composing of representatives of the National Police Service, the Inspector General of Police is here, but also the Foreign Affairs Ministry and other stakeholders that are critical.
The CS denied claims the government is gambling with the lives of Kenya's men and women in uniform.
That we are not taking our officers to Haiti as guinea pigs because our police officers have been engaged in the past very successfully.
According to Kindiki, Kenya is not the only African country sending police to Haiti. Kindiki's assurance comes amid concerns by the Azimio One Kenya coalition party over the deployment. In a statement to newsrooms, the opposition questions why the government is committed on sending police officers abroad while there are security challenges at home.
Nothing in terms of deployment will happen until the legal requirements have been met.
Meanwhile, CS Kindiki has revealed that at least 10 suspects are in custody in connection with the violence witnessed in Sondu. The CS has assured communities living along the Kisumu-Kericho border that security personnel have been deployed to isolate and neutralize criminals operating in the region. Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki is expected before the National Assembly Security Committee next week to expound on issues surrounding transfer of police as well as promotions. Gishoki Washira, Prime Edition, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
Lack of sufficient funding has been cited as the main challenge facing the irrigation sector in the country. Speaking when she handed over the management of the Ministry of Water and Irrigation to the incoming Cabinet Secretary Zachariah Njeru, the outgoing Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome said there is a need to urgently respond to the funding gap to enable the sector to achieve its targets, especially in ensuring food security in the country. Zachariah Njeru has in the meantime said the Ministry of Lands is almost completing the digitization of land records in Nairobi County before the digitization product is rolled out in other parts of the country.
Kind of strategy that we have put in place to increase bulk water storage, meaning harvesting and storage, will also require stronger water service providers.
We have a national titling program that is processing and issuance of titles. This is a program also that we had started.
The government has moved to enhance social protection coverage for informal and rural workers by unveiling a 5-year strategy to address the challenges and improve their welfare. According to Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary Florence Bor, implementation of the strategy will involve health insurance protection, retirement benefit schemes, maternity benefits, and improved income protection for older persons, children, and persons with disabilities. 8 in 10 people in the labor force in Kenya are in the informal and rural economy.
In this regard, to this that the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection has put together this document aimed at providing a framework for the provision of inclusive and adequate social protection for rural and informal sector workers.
Through this strategy, the government is working towards enhancing the safety and health of workers, increasing workers' compensation, and providing opportunities for improved livelihoods.
2 people have been shot dead by suspected bandits in Loruk and Kosile in Baringo County. Confirming the incident, Baringo Police Commander Julius Kirangu said the first victim was herding livestock in Loruk before he was abducted and later found dead. The second victim was allegedly attacked and killed in the afternoon in Kosile. Elsewhere, the government has said it will enhance its border security by earmarking more ports of entry and exit in different parts of the country. Timothy Kipnusu has that story for you.
Tension is high in Loruk and Kosile areas of Baringo County following a banditry attack that left 2 people dead. The murder of the 2 happened in 2 separate places. In the first incident in Loruk, the deceased was herding livestock when he was attacked by bandits before he was abducted, with the second person shot dead in Kosile area on Thursday afternoon. Baringo Police Commander Julius Kirangu, however, said that they have since deployed security personnel to restore calm in the area. Traders who were conducting their businesses in Loruk Center were forced to close, fearing for their lives.
It's becoming a trend whereby we are losing young men all the time to bandits. And now there's a trend that they don't even take animals any longer. They just kill, they maim, and they leave.
A section of religious leaders, however, urged the locals not to retaliate so as to avoid escalating the conflict.
Ukiangalia mambo haya ni kijana amekufa na ni kijana huenda ameua mwingine, na sasa maisha hiyo itakuwa ngumu. Tunaomba vijana, tafadhali jaribu tuishi maisha ya amani na utulivu, kwa sababu ukimwaga damu naye Mwenyezi Mungu afurahi.
Thursday's attack comes just 2 weeks after the burial of 2 other people who were shot dead by bandits in Ngaratuko, Baringo North. The residents urged the government to urgently intervene to avert more deaths.
Watu wetu wanawawanga mara kwa mara. Wiki juzi kuna wawili waliwawa Ngaratuko.
Elsewhere, the government now says it will enhance its border security by earmarking more ports of entry and exit in different parts of the country. Speaking after leading a delegation from the Border Control and Operations Coordinating Committee in Marsabit County, Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo also assured residents that Northward Sub-County will be operational in the next 60 days. to facilitate closer access to government services and improve security management in the area.
Tunahitaji security officers ya kutosha, sana sana NPR na GSU. Kwa hiyo border post tutakuwa tunajenga. Within 60 days we would have gazetted and operationalized Eldoret sub-county.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
Pastor Paul Mackenzie of the Good News International Church and 20 co-accused will spend an additional 7 days in custody awaiting the verdict of a fresh application made last month by the state. Shanzu Law Court Senior Principal Magistrate Yusuf Shikanda on Thursday granted the defense team 1 more week to examine the application and properly appraise their client.
Preferring the respondents to come to court, then we don't proceed. I would pray that on 18th, the matter be mentioned in the absence of the respondents, and the proceedings limited to receiving the reports and taking directions as to the hearing.
Pande zote zitapewa nafasi ya kufanya mawasilisho wakati ombi la upande wa mashtaka litakuwa linasikilizwa. Mawasilisho kuhusiana na hizo ripoti za kijamii ambazo zitaletwa na ofisi ya afisa wa kifungo cha nje, na kuna agizo kwamba nakala za ripoti ya tume ya haki za kutetea haki za kibinadamu zipewe ofisi ya mkurugenzi mkuu wa mashtaka, ofisi ya mwanasheria mkuu wa serikali, pamoja na wale ambao wanasimamia jela za Shimolatewa, Kilifi, Malindi na pia bwana Makasembu wapewe nakala hiyo ripoti.
Pray that please grant me my second application for adjournment, and I give you my undertaking that come 18th of October, I'll be ready to proceed with the application.
Ekelis Cultural Center in Lodwar, Turkana County was dotted with different colors as members of the Atek community marked the 7th edition of the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival. Over 200 groups of different parts of the county turned up to entertain visitors who attended the feast, and the President William Ruto, who was the chief guest, who also donned the traditional attire that was the symbol of the event.
After spending the night at Ekelis Cultural Center in Lodwar, the big day was finally here. The traditional dancers from different parts of Turkana County in different traditional regalia were charged, ready to put on a show. On the podium, they showcased their might in culture, choreographed in their unsaturated dialect. Those in attendance had to abide by the dress code. The men, on the other hand, found comfort in this special seat known as the Ekcholong. President William Ruto, who graced the ceremony, was true to the calling of the day, abiding by the dress rules. On occasion, he would join the traditional dancers. The Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival is evidence of how the rich Turkana culture has managed to evade modernity.
Nancy Okware, reporting for Prime Edition from Ekales Cultural Center in Lodwar, Turkana County.
The government is promising unparalleled security operation to tame the wave of insecurity in the restive Sugutu region. President William Ruto, while officiating the 7th Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival, warned that his administration will not tolerate few criminals trying to destabilize livelihoods of Kenyans and promised creation of 3 administrative units in the insecurity-prone area of Turkana County.
President William Ruto was the chief guest at the 7th Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival, bringing together thousands of members of the Atakir community from Kenya, Ethiopia, South Sudan and Uganda to celebrate their rich heritage. The head of state pledging government support for indigenous communities to aid in the preservation of culture while promoting Kenya's unity.
This festival is therefore an important platform for the celebration of unity and diversity, promotion of peace and security, advancement of harmony and cohesion, and deepening of regional integration and cooperation through cultural expression.
With the Turkana County leadership having lamented over rampant cases of insecurity rocking parts of the county, the president acceded to their request to create 3 administrative units that will be gazetted in the next 3 months.
Mimi ninakuomba wacha watu wa Kapedo, wacha watu wa Nadome, watu wa Kamuge, watu wa Peyton, watu wa Lokori, watu wa Katilia, watu wa Lomelo wapate uhuru wakati wako.
Tumekubaliana ya kwamba sub-county ya pale Suguta, sub-county ya Aro na sub-county ya Lokiriama, hizo sub-counties 3 wameniuliza wanataka zianzishwe, na tayari mimi nataka niwaambie watu wa hapa county ya Turkana ya kwamba ndani ya siku 90 days, all those 3 sub-counties will be operational. Ili kutusaidia kusahihisha mambo ya usalama.
The creation of the 3 sub-counties will increase government presence in the area and closer coordination among security agencies to deal with the bane of cattle rustlers roaming the area. The government is also training police reservists expected to graduate in the next 3 weeks to join their colleagues in the National Police Service to boost police presence in the troubled areas. President Ruto sounded a warning to the criminal elements that his administration was keen on its resolve to stabilize the north.
Hatuwezi kukubali watu wachache waharibu nafasi yetu ya amani ya kujenga uchumi na kupeleka watoto wetu shuleni na kuzalisha chakula, ichukuliwe na watu wajinga wachache wanaotusumbua na mambo ya kuiba ng'ombe na mambo ya kusumbua amani.
Tulitembea na mheshimiwa spika wetu, tulitembea na timu ya security. Ni maajabu yanatendeka katika sehemu ya bonde la Ufa, sehemu hiyo ya Suguta. Maajabu ya Musa, watu wanachomwa kama mbuzi, watu wanauliwa kila siku.
Je, ile operation ya Turkana hizi iko wapi? Je, sisi watu wa Turkana hizi tuko North Rift? Kwa sababu tule tunaongea hivi, hata saa hizi hivi kuna mashambulizi yamefanyika kwangu.
Announced an 800 million shillings project seeking to extend the Takwel Power Project to Lodwar from Lokichar.
Mutanipatia tu nafasi kwa sababu kujenga hiyo maneno kutoka huko Lokichar itachukua muda kidogo. Nahitaji 15 months na stima itakuwa inawaka hapa Lodwar town, alafu nitaisukuma mpaka ifike Kalokol ndio tuweze kutumia katika biashara yetu ya uvuvi na kupanga uchumi wa sehemu hii.
As part of his goodies to Turkana County, the president announced that the Turkana University would get the full university charter by October next year. With reports of resurgence of violence in Turkana South and Turkana East, President William Ruto is sounding a warning to the criminal elements who are said to have regrouped from Baringo and West Pokot that the government was keen
on Crash and Then. John Jacob Curie, Prime Edition.
Well, the courts have dismissed a case that was against GMO being introduced in the country. That and more coming after the break.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2023. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.ufaa.go.ke and get started. Beat the November 1st deadline. It is your turn to surrender and report qualifying unclaimed financial assets. Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Tuache kudanganyana. Hapa mali safi, mali mbichi, kijani kibichi. Tuko Lucky Game, tunashibishana. Dial *570#. Chagua sanduku ya Lucky Game. Utapata sanduku 7 zinakungoja mahali pale. Chagua yako. Mali kibao, tuko na viti, tuko na vifriji hapa, tuko na TV, tuko na microwave, na pia tuko na chapa. All happening kwa *570#. Jishibishe.
Welcome back. It's now time for business. The Environmental Court has dismissed a case challenging the introduction of genetically modified food in the country for the lack of evidence on the risk that it poses to humans. Justice Oscar Angote ruled that the Law Society of Kenya's petition lacked supporting evidence that the cabinet and regulatory agencies contravened the Constitution when the lifting of the ban on cultivation and importation of genetically modified crops.
Kenya is edging closer to joining Malawi, South Africa and Zambia in rollout of full commercialization of genetically modified foods after the Environmental Court dismissed a case challenging the introduction of genetically modified crops into the country. In his ruling, Justice Oscar Angote argued that the petition by the Law Society of Kenya lacked supporting evidence regarding the potential harm to human beings.
Is there really any evidence that has been produced to show that GMOs are unsafe? And I do believe what Daktari has said is that what was published in 2012, I think was recanted, and there is no evidence that GMOs are unsafe.
Justice Angote also noted that there had been sufficient public involvement, including a session held in Nairobi at the Kenyatta International Convention Center and a Gazette notice dismissing claims by the petitioners. The judge ruled that the petitioners' claims regarding the cultivation, importation and exportation of GMO maize without alliances were premature due to the absence of concrete evidence. The court said the National Biosafety Authority has put in place necessary measures for the rollout of the GMO cultivation and that there was no evidence to show the authority had in its function as a regulator.
And when they approve a product which has been developed locally here, they have checked from beginning to end up to the market systems. How will it be managed? Who will be selling the seeds? All these kind of things have been considered.
Benson Tuba reporting for Prime Edition.
The construction of the Karenga airstrip will be completed by the end of this month. Test flights are ongoing at the much-delayed facility where the First Lady Rachel Ruto using the airstrip got delayed this week. Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says the airstrip is expected to facilitate commerce and trade in the south of Rift Valley, especially transportation of horticulture from the region.
The construction of the Karenga airstrip started in 2017 in a movement to open up the South Rift counties. However, the project has been riddled with challenges due to corruption allegations and the embezzlement of funds. But the government has now set aside 100 million shillings to complete the project before the Mashujaa Day celebrations, which are slated for 20th of this month. Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says the facility will facilitate fast movement of people and goods, promote tourism, access to emergency medical services, and economic growth.
In terms of tourism circle, this airport is going to be able to open the tourism in this region. So this airport and airstrip at this point in time is a great vision that we have. As Kenya Kwanza, we promise that we are going to develop this country from the bottom up, that we are going to make services accessible to the people, to the lowest level. And because of such facilities we are building, I can tell you for sure that we are going to reduce the cost of transport.
The completion of Phase 1 will pave the way for the expansion of the runway from the current 1.2 kilometers to 2 kilometers.
County governments as a whole, we commit to Waziri Kipchumba that we'll continue to hold your hand, we'll continue to partner together with the national government to ensure that what we promise as Kenya Kwanza is delivered to our people.
The government had announced an upgrade of various airstrips in the country as it seeks to implement the bottom-up economic transformation agenda goals which aim at creating employment opportunities, boosting investments, and in turn revitalizing the country's economy. So far, the government has rehabilitated and expanded airstrips in Homa Bay, Migori, Kitale, and Garissa. Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
Kenya is vouching for major reforms at the International Monetary Fund that seek proper distribution of members' quota and voting rights. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndung'u says the reforms will reflect the changing global dynamics that have seen the rebalancing of global economic power and influence. The Treasury CS spoke during the ongoing annual meeting happening in the city of Marrakesh, Morocco.
For the whole of this week, more than 100 members of the International Monetary Fund have been meeting in Morocco for the annual meeting. Top on the agenda is the 16th review of IMF quotas and commitment by members to provide funds to the lender for onward lending to other members. The last review was done more than a decade ago, and members are now calling for more changes in the management of the fund and the shareholding structures to reflect new realities.
And we make sure that because we are also going to move into an accrual system of budgeting, we do not want to carry any pending bills in the future. So, but this one is going to be critical because we want to put a stop to this. Because if you don't have a budget, you don't spend.
Member countries have been calling for a change in the redistribution of quota and voting shares to allow more members have a say in the decision of the fund. Currently, the United States has the highest quota at 17.4% and a voting share of 16.5%, giving Washington more power and influence in the fund.
Persistent shocks that have created.
National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndung'u, who is attending the annual meeting, says there is a need for the IMF to play its role in a more transparent way to help the global economy weather the ongoing economic and social turbulence.
Have a value chain approach and to make sure that you provide the budget at any stage in the value chain. No duplication, no gaps, so that we know that the budget you have allocated is going to finish the cycle of the product. And we're going to see the product at the end. We are going to stick to that So whether solutions of securitizing or solutions of paying it, come in, depending on the circumstances, we're going to deal with it. But first of all, first things first, let's verify it, and then put a stop to them, so that once you deal with them, it's once and for all.
Critics of IMF says the fund doesn't reflect the will of its members, with the US wielding the more powers than any other member. The Marrakech meeting is widely expected to develop a change matrix that will see the distribution of voting rights altered and the members allocated more funding quota. Edna Murungi for Prime Edition.
Now to some good news, where the government is in the process of reviving dormant cooperative societies and transforming various groups into cooperatives. Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives Simon Chelugui says the move will promote financial inclusion and empower Kenyans economically. He spoke during the ongoing 23rd SACCO Congress in Botswana.
Kenya has registered over 28,000 cooperatives and contributes about 30% of national savings, accounting for at least 10% of gross domestic product. Speaking in Botswana during the 23rd SACCO Congress, Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives Simon Chelugui revealed a plan to revive non-performing cooperatives to empower residents economically.
In terms of cooperative membership coverage and inclusion, Africa, through significant, still requires further deepening. Africa's cooperative movement is yet to reach many people. Your Excellency, out of 1.3 billion people in Africa, only 7 persons out of 100 adults and children are members of cooperative.
The cooperative business model is key to sustainable economic development as it helps address financial exclusion. ACOSCA and the Africa Cooperative Development Foundation have partnered to create the Africa Cooperative System that will, among others, raise awareness on climate change while promoting green financing.
The challenges posed by climate change are a concern on the African continent, especially as they affect the most vulnerable in communities and contribute to food insecurity, population displacement, as well as put a strain on water resources and grazing lands.
Our biggest threat today is climate change. For this reason, ACOSCA and Desjardins International of Canada will be launching the African Cooperative Climate Action Plan this week.
This initiative will help mobilize resources, foster collaboration, and drive sustainable practices across various sectors. The Congress drew over 700 participants from 168 SACCOs established in 34 countries. Wedi Mujenga for Prime Edition.
Kenya is in a race against time to raise a commercial loan worth between $500 million and $1 billion from 2 regional policy banks, Trade and Development Bank and the African Export-Import Bank, to repay the €2 billion Eurobond due in June 2024 by December 31st. According to Central Bank Governor Kamau Thuge, part of it will be used to reduce the liability of the Eurobond and the rest would be for the budget support.
With 8 months to go and tightening of the global markets that has rendered the issuance of fresh debt in the international market to refinance maturing debt untenable, Kenya is exploring other options including regional banks, the World Bank and IMF. In an interview with Reuters, Central Bank Governor Dr. Kamau Thuge said Kenya is in talks with Trade and Development Bank and the African Export-Import Bank to borrow between $500 million and $1 billion in commercial loans. Of this, Dr. Thuge says $500 million would be used to buy back part of the $2 billion that is due in June 2024. During the interview on the sidelines of the World Bank and IMF meetings in Marrakech, Morocco, Dr. Thuge said, "We would use part of that for the buyback for the liability management and the rest would be for the budget support." He says this is part of Kenya's plan to progressively reduce the Eurobond debt. Dr. Thuge says if Kenya fails to secure loans from the institutions it is in talks with, then foreign exchange reserves at the central bank would be used to settle the $2 billion Eurobond that matures in June next year. Currently, the central bank has $6.91 billion of foreign exchange reserves, which is worth about 3.71 months of import cover. In addition, the central bank governor says Kenya is in talks with the International Monetary Fund for an augmentation of its loan program, which is undergoing its 6th review next month, and with the World Bank to add to a $750 million loan planned for March next year. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Millers will purchase maize from farmers at the price of 4,000 shillings per 90 kilo bag. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi told the Senate Standing Committee on Agriculture that the price was sufficient for maize farmers to recoup their costs and make a profit.
The Cabinet has approved the purchase of 1 million bags of 90 kg bags of maize for the Strategic Food Reserve. The government says the National Cereals and Produce Board is ready to start receiving maize from farmers.
Support we have received from farmers is something we must permanently maintain, and we are first in the acquisition of 1 million bags under the Strategic Food Reserve. We are going to buy maize from our farmers that are registered, that are in a database.
Linturi says policymakers and those in the maize value chain have settled on a price of 4,000 shillings per bag.
Which we are going to buy. Maize is 4,000 shillings per 90 kilogram bag, and some farmers feel that, and I'm happy because of the response, because some farmers feel this is not a very bad price.
The maize price of 4,000, we shall still engage. I think those are things we can still engage.
He says no maize imports would be allowed into Kenya until millers exhaust stocks that farmers have.
The whole idea is to see how the private sector players can be able to participate in this space and be able to get a better price than what we are offering, so that at least our farmers really are able to get good return.
There has been a push by maize farmers that the government revises up the buying price of maize by the National Cereals and Produce Board. Benson Droba reporting for Prime Edition.
The government has formed a committee to look at ways of equipping and modernizing Kenya's prisons, cottage industry. The committee will also look into ways of upscaling prisoners to help in production and manufacturing of world-class products. Correctional Services Principal Secretary Saloma Muyabuka says the state will receive modern machines in the next 2 months in an initial piloting phase.
This is just but a taste of what Kenya's correctional cottage industries can produce. The government has developed a work plan that will ensure cottage industries play a pivotal role in the transformation of the country's economy. The actualization of the Correctional Facilities Improvement Plan has moved a step closer after the State Department for Industrialization and the State Department for Correctional Services established a common platform.
We are playing our role in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda in building Kenya by manufacturing, the manufacturing component of bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
Part of what we'll work on is how we can partner, not in the short term, but in the long term, so that we can support upgrading. So we'll start here at committee as an example.
Speaking after a tour of production workshops at the country's Committee Maximum Security Prison, Industrialization PS, Dr. Juma Mkhwana says the collaboration is timely as the country deepens the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya call.
I came here together with a team from the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and we have formed a team between the State Department for Correctional Services and my State Department, and of course the Kenya Prison Service.
We want to encourage Kenyans to buy Kenya so that we can build Kenya. This is the only way we can create employment. This is the only way we can train our inmates, many of whom are long-term inmates.
This is Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, and don't stop, because our people get skills with this, And with those skills, we will get better. And
Currently, prisons are both training and corrective centers, with prisoners looking to make use of their free time to gain skills in the various industries and schools within the prisons. On their part, the private sector is looking to update prisons' products to match market needs to help drive uptake of what they term as a misunderstood Kenyan product.
So even the level they're at right now with what they have is exceptionally impressive. So we are now in 2023. We are going to 2030 soon. And there's so much we can share.
The partnership here is meant to fill the linkages gap that is there between the private sector and the public sector. Alan Auko, Prime Edition.
Dairy farmers in Rift Valley are embracing vacuum silage bale wrapping technology to lengthen the shelf life of the fodder and boost milk production. This technology eliminates oxygen and water that causes rotting and aflatoxin. Today on Tech One, we show you how this technology works.
Currently, dairy farmers with high-yielding breeds get between 17 litres to 40 litres of milk per day with silage. How is this possible? Technology is enabling them to get quality feeds and make their storage easier. This is silage bale wrapping. Silage is a modern way of farming that is high-yielding. The silage is wrapped in quality material to guarantee freshness, a process that happens in minutes.
As we see here, we are doing silage baling, that is silage packaging. Our silage baling, we bale in a capacity of 350 kilos per bale, and it is a maize corn silage.
AgriAssist is one of the proprietors supplying farmers with this technology. After maturity of the maize plant and consequent harvesting, a pit is dug and filled to the brim with chopped maize plants into a lump known as a bunker. Then a tractor scoops preserved silage from the bunker and loads it into this balling machine. This machine scoops silage from its intake, measures and shifts the silage, packs it into huge rolls, wraps them using special high-quality polythene paper, and finally rolls it to the ground.
You see now the material also is imported. Of course, everything here is imported, but we are bringing this technology also to Kenyans so that they can improve.
Through this computerized control unit, this machine can package silage that has already been done in pits or direct from the farms. The machine's control unit is in charge of all the commands necessary for the operations of the process. The ready silage bales are kept at a safe corner, ready for transport to various locations depending on orders from dairy farmers.
We are advising farmers when we are feeding our dairy cows. Yeah, we also advise on the balanced ration, where silage, dairy meal, and other supplements are important.
Unlike previously, when silage was made manually or using makeshift machines and would be affected by heat, bad weather, poor storage, leading to spoilage, baled silage can last for over 2 years in good state.
And also the storage. That bale can stay there up to 2 years without any damage, without any loss, without any rotten silage. And it is also portable. You can take from one place to another.
The baling machine packs the silage in bales weighing between 350 and 400 kg. According to silage experts, the bale wrapping system was introduced in the mid-1980s. Wrapping silage is already practiced in several developed countries like the Netherlands, where it has helped farmers feed their herds in an easy and cost-effective manner.
Agricultural technology has reached levels where farmers are able to reduce costs and losses just by inputting a bit of innovation. For example, wrapping the silage before reaching the cows by eliminating the oxygen that makes the silage rot or become oversized. Alan Auko, Tech One.
mchezaji wa Loto Moto.
Mungu awabariki sana.
Ni wengi wanakushukuru bila hata wewe kufahamu.
Niliona Mungu wa ajabu ameshuka.
Ni wengi wanaokuaminia.
Imejaa, imebaki, yani hamtasabi.
Ni wengi wanaokuombea ushindi.
Hawa ndio niachiwe na mama yao wakati aligojeka kwa muda.
Ni wengi unaowagusa kwa kuwapa afueni na imani ya maisha.
Asante na Mungu akubariki pia.
Ni wengi unawatembelea.
Through hii program ndo tunajua vitu zingine.
Na imani yako inawapa amani.
Akaaga juu ya kansa.
Ushindi wako ni wa wengi.
Roma niendanga, Roma.
Asante mchezaji wa Loto Moto.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji ulobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
aha nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hoda
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Soro FM.
Welcome back. The Central Island National Park in Lake Turkana Basketry and Desert Safari are some of the tourist activities that the national government and the county government of Turkana plan to aggressively market to attract visitors to Turkana. Our reporter Irene Muchuma Odim spoke to the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Turkana County Chapter Chairperson Justice Away on issues such as fish poaching, tourism and investment opportunities in Turkana County, and this is how the interview went.
Good evening. We are coming to you from Lodwar, the county of Turkana. We are at the Ekala Center, where the 7th edition of the Turkana Cultural and Tourism Festival is underway. And this evening we're going to talk tourism matters, investments, concerns in the county of Turkana. On set with us is the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Chair, Justice Away. Welcome on set.
Thank you.
Let's begin by understanding the role of NCCI in the county.
Okay, KNCCI, the role is really to protect, to promote and to develop the community across the region by making them they have a good working environment in terms of business. And KNCCI is a membership organization. It's not a profitable organization. We really advocate for them to make sure in matter of policies and to make sure they are really running their business without any obstacles and to harmonize the diversity of all communities living in Turkana. And we will say Turkana is good in terms of investments. It's just the problem is marketing, that Turkana needs to market their products globally. If we really market ourselves, Turkana will be the best destination in Kenya because of like Turkana, that's a blue economy based on our livelihoods, that is fishing, basket industry and livestock.
Talking about marketing, are we on the right track?
In marketing, really, we are not in the right track. We need to do and to really to come up with a good way of marketing Turkana.
We have various tourism products, and the key of concern to many people is the life of Lake Turkana. Look at it this way. There are concerns that there is poaching at the Central Island, one of the key attractions for Lake Turkana, and it's one of the key aspects that people would want to explore when they are here. Don't you see it's about time we address this concern?
We need to address it. That's why the KWS have to make sure there is no more poaching in Lake Turkana. It's only to make sure they are really preserving it and to make it well developed for the development of the entire country.
what are the initial stages that we have been able to engage the KWS in protecting the heritage sites?
The main thing is really for them to work with the community. And also we do much capacity building to the community to understand the importance of it. So that they will actually come up together and join us together with the government, that's the national government, through KWS and the tourism sector, to make sure these all sectors are really protected fully.
Turkana County is one of the regions that I would say, from the way I've gone around the country, has greatly benefited from devolution. But there is a concern on the sand dunes. We have had these sand dunes for many years right now, but we have not had desert safari. What is holding us back?
These are really things that people who understand about the rallies, because of the sand dunes, who can come up with it. And it's the county government really to look for these kind of avenues. For the Chamber of Commerce, we can really connect, because that is our market linkages, to make sure we talk as the national Kenya National Chamber of Commerce to come up with that. But the county government also has to have on hand to make sure these are products that will enhance and to make sure Turkana is being developed or marketed. Yeah.
In line with basketry, this is one activity that you would notice when you get to the central business district of Lodwar. But then what revenue are we getting from it? Is this sustainable for the livelihood of the women who practice basketry?
Yes, basketry is one of the livelihood in Turkana. It has not started yesterday. It has been there ages before some of us also been born. And it is a profitable product in Turkana. It's a sustainable platform of it. It used to, the products of basketry used to go to Germany, and due to marketing process again that it went down, that the county government and the national government through Kenya Chamber of Commerce have to come again how we can link them to Germany, because it's really a product that is required in Germany. It's only to do value addition on it and to raise its standard so that it can go globally and nationally. Yes, because it is really an item that is required even in your own house. Some of them you can put your clean clothes, you can put your stuff when you are moving away. Yes.
Is a strategy in the pipeline?
Yeah, it's something that I'm putting it because it's this year that I've been elected as the new chairman of the National Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here to make sure to turn all the game, to make sure Turkana is being marketed and to make sure Turkana in the business we can really grow by opening entire borders, because we are bordering 3 countries, that is Ethiopia, Uganda and South Sudan. All this can really, which I've yesterday talked to the president also about it, and we need to push to as a county so that we see the growth of Turkana doubles the digits, so that we enhance the economy for the entire country. Yeah.
So when you look at it 5 years to come, now that you are not even more than a year in office, 5 years to come, where will be this basketry sector at?
For the plans I have, I think I'm coming up with the capacity building trainings through the partners which we are partnering with, like ILO, which is really working on skill development. These are our partners that are really trying to develop Turkana on skill development work. And by doing that, they will be able really to understand the importance of these products. And then we do value addition on it. It was last week, I was in Kirdi, something that Turkana has never known about it, in Qatar's for ILO again. I took the county government to make sure we explore a lot, because as the Chamber of Commerce, we are led on a kind of industrialization in Turkana. We want to set a tannery in Turkana, because we are the largest animal keepers in the entire country. So most of the skins are really going to waste here. We are throwing them. if we open that tannery, we can be able to double the leather work. That's hide and skin.
Sorry about the heat. Temperature stand at around 36 degrees in Lodwar. I want us to talk about the livestock keeping that you have just mentioned. There is the issue of drought. How are we intending to address this for sustainability?
It needs also capacity building because really our community doesn't understand weather change. Now the global world is warming up and we have the global, that's the change of climate. In Turkana here, we experienced 4 years without rain. We lost a lot of animals. And it's now for all the key stakeholders to come up. That's the NDMA, Turkana County Government, the national government, the Kenya Chamber of Commerce, and partners to train our people on where we can go, we can see the best way to do. Because migration also doesn't help. We lose a lot of livestock on migration patterns because of pasture and water due to this kind of long droughts that we have never been experiencing. And the best thing is how to train people how to make the feedings, the silos, and also the powder for feeding them, and also train people on ranch way, so that we can be able to sustain this kind of livelihood. Because at now, we are really doing bad in terms of livestock rearing because of these long droughts.
Do we have a certain budget allocated for these initiatives?
Yes, county government has allocated good money. That is vaccination, because we have a lot of diseases coming from neighboring countries when they are migrating them. So the best thing is to protect them first on diseases. Then from there we see where they get water and more pasture, so that we can be able to sustain that kind of livelihood, which the county government and the national government through NDMA, they are really trying. For us, Chamber of Commerce is to capacity build them to make sure they are really in the right track, because this livestock rearing, because it's a part of our livelihood, we are there to sustain it, to make it a sustainable one for them to continue having that sustainable life.
Where would you rate the infrastructure of Turkana County, because infrastructure results to proper development?
For now, I can say 50%, really, because nobody knew about devolution. Most of the money went to misplaced projects, because if we were ready for it and we knew about it, we could have actually put our priorities first by making sure we have better roads, we have sufficient water to every village, and also medical services, because those are the key, and education sector. Those are the key things. And also, they could have invested in tourism, because it's the main thing that generates income. If you see Turkana is a very beautiful place. If you see Capedo waterfalls, the Lake Turkana Islands, we have 3 of them in Lake Turkana, that's the islands. It's something that we can be able to market, because it's the only desert lake in the world. It's a special thing. Even the head of state mentioned it, that we really to be proud about it and to see how we can develop it. Recently, we had a discovery again. The older human being was found in Turkana, which is a plus to us for the tourists from outside the country to come and tour. We need to identify these places and develop fully on tourism, so that most of the European countries can actually come and see their origin. By doing that, that is the only way we can unlock about the tourism in Turkana. Marketing has to be the key front, so that we can see the reality of tourism in Turkana. Turkana is much beautiful. Go to the lake, along the lake with very beautiful sand dunes, and even Mombasa. It's a fresh lake.
Where do you think we have the gaps that is holding back development to speedy growth in Turkana County?
The gaps is really about the largeness of the place, and also insecurity that squeezes people not to develop all the areas and to balance the development entire region. If we see like the recent Capedo governor's visit in Capedo, you saw the heavy security which was there. That means we need to see how we can actually see we have more peace in the entire region. Without peace, we cannot see any development. And also political status quo nowadays, it influences the whole thing that doesn't give any kind of development in the region. We need to move as the county with the head of state so that we see nationally we are being supported. And that is my advice to all politicians in the current governance. They need to move with the president to come up on our modality way, because I don't see parties will take us anywhere. It's the development will take the region somewhere. And only they will come and make peace to each other and see how we can realize the most beautiful developments in Turkana.
So if all these issues are put together, how do you visualize Turkana County in the next 5 years?
Currently, I see our governor is really passionate about to develop Turkana, and working with the head of state, to me, is a plus, a big plus. In 5 years, I see Turkana changing. Chamber of Commerce is coming up with the industrialization. That is what we are pushing. We want to push the blue economy. We develop a factory for fishing where we can package our fish and sell it to Congo. It's a ready market. The president went there. It's a ready market for us. Most fish in Turkana is better than everywhere in this country. So, and also hide and skin. If we set it, we will realize that kind of industrialization I'm talking about. We have gypsum in Turkana, which I don't want again as the Chamber of Commerce to be taken away from Turkana. Whoever is interested as an investor has to come and set something here for us. You create employment for the youth and women, and also by doing that, we will double the digits in Turkana and to make sure Turkana is being developed. The President and Head of State have actually accepted to put us on hydro grid, that is from Lokicher to Lodwa to Kalokol, which is a big plus to us in terms of development. So that's what, in short, what I'm telling you. In 5 years, I need you to visit Turkana.
We will come again.
You have to come and see how Turkana has changed, because working together in harmony and also putting politics aside will develop Turkana.
We will be with you every step of the way. The 7th edition of the Turkana Cultural and the Tourism Festival is here. There is the cultural aspect that the Turkana community would pride about. What is it in store for us in terms of the cultural products?
Turkana culture is a beautiful culture. I know you being even visited here, you will admire to remain Turkana. Why? We treasure it, we build it, and we preserve it. It's a very beautiful culture. Everybody admires to be in it. And when we come together like this, we call our neighbors that we speak the same language. In Toposa, in South Sudan, we have the Toposa. We speak the same language. So we call them Ateker. Ateker is the Toposa from South Sudan, is Nyangatom from Ethiopia, and the Karimojong from Uganda. We speak the same language. So as such time of this kind of events, we really come together and bond and see where the migration pattern, what happened to us. We cry to each other and we say, no, we don't want to fight. We are brothers and sisters. It really brings us to a picture that we feel ourselves. We are really a big tribe.
The festival has kicked off and it's going through to Saturday. What do you think will be the climax of this festival?
The climax is that everybody will just see Turkana is beautiful. Turkana is a good place to be. And having head of states around us will also give us more developments in Turkana. We will feel we are part of Kenya. People used to, long time, we used to say when we go to Nairobi, we have come to Kenya because we were really marginalized. But we only saw that marginalization getting off in 2013 when William, because really His Excellency, the president, the current president, our president, is more passionate about the Turkana community. He really feels about the Turkana community. He really wants to see Turkana as part of Kenya. That's why there is a song in Turkana. He likes it, and you will hear being played here, and he will wake up wants to play about it. Where we are all part of Kenya, because we used to say we are not Kenyans. Why we were marginalized, there was no development, and being passionate about the Turkana community. That's why we saw the main airroad build is his dreams, and we treasure him. We feel him as part of the Turkana community. So the climax which he will give to us is to see us holding it and saying we are part of Kenya to develop Turkana together and to develop the Kenya economy together.
As you talk about His Excellency, I understand the coronation also has an impact whereby the Council of Elders are being involved in the exercise. And as we come to the close of this, what will be your parting words?
The parting words, I believe, is to thank everyone who actually joined us and to tell everyone to develop or to invest in Turkana as the richest county in terms of minerals, in terms of culture. It is the best. It is number one. It's just marketing that I had mentioned to you. We need to repackage ourselves in terms of marketing. We will be the best county in the entire country. Also, it is good we preach peace with our neighboring counties, because what is actually taking us back is insecurity, which is happening in Turkana South and the West Pokot, Turkana South and the other side again in Baringo and the Marakwet side. If we really try to harmonize all this, we will see Turkana coming up, and everybody will be happy about it. And we will encourage you people to come to Turkana and to be with us. You are part of us. This is the origin of mankind. And yes, everybody will feel it when we leave each other here. Everybody will see he went to ancestors to say hi. And we are proud to be where we started our journey, or where we were really created.
I'll take you back, the coronation of the HE and the Council of Elders. What impact will it leave behind after the festival, in a nutshell?
For them, they will actually ground the president as their own son. And then again, they will actually tell people the importance of the culture, because most of the people now, the young people who have been brought up and they are in towns, they really don't understand about the culture. It will be a good part of, I know, it will just be a nice one, with a lot of blessings and a lot of things happening.
And
yeah.
And goodwill.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That is the chair, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Turkana chapter, Justus Ewoy, giving us an insight in matters tourism and investment, the future of Turkana County. My name is Irene Mchuma Udim. Back to you, Broadcasting House.
So I want to invite the ambassadors of various countries across the world, ambassadors from various countries to Kenya. I want to extend the same even to our own president, who will become the guest of honor of this event, and the deputy president who will close the event. There are many other leadership who will speak in between the time when the president will be coming and also when the deputy president will be closing. I want to ask the people of Turkana County to turn up in very large numbers, because the president of the Republic of Kenya will be coming and paying a visit to the headquarters and also trying to open up a few projects from across Turkana County. The people of Turkana are very friendly, and it is peaceful all across our border. So we do not really want anybody to fail to come, because this is the cradle of mankind. Turkana County, according to proven history, it has been found that all human beings who even live in the United States of America or elsewhere, all of them originated or came up from Turkana County.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2023.
You're one humankind, brother side by side.
Tunazungumzia sharti moja ya swala ambayo inampasa Muislamu kuzingatia.
Tofauti ya Muislamu na siokuwa Muislamu ni swala, na matendo unayoyatenda yao ni matendo ambayo Mwenyezi Mungu anayapenda.
Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
So sorry.
From now on, when I'm around, no matter how late, I'll drive you home.
Happy birthday to you!
You're getting an apartment?
You know, Jing Jing often told me to buy one, but I never did because I never thought I needed it.
When you're not happy with the present, there's no way out. When you're always anxious, you feel powerless. So long.
Well, now I know why Jing Jing owed money.
Emergency? Naomba tu, please, kwa hisani yako, unipatie kitu kidogo.
Enda na uchukue yako.
Asina upea.
Why are you talking like that?
Kumbuka aliye juu. Mngoje chini.
Hapa ndio unipe TV yangu.
Hii TV yako unasema ulinunua pesa ngapi?
Na baadaye? Bango. Makarao ndio hao. Puku. Mzai koko ndani. Guess what?
Nini ilifanyika?
This guy shorted my radio.
Wewe.
And
ongea tu Kiswahili.
So that you become a nightmare.
Wewe.
And then
Well, I see Okumu is in the sports studio, so I know it's almost time for sports. But before that, Environment Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuyo says the 23 individuals dismissed yesterday by the President during the passing out parade of Kenya Forest Service Rangers at the Forest Law Enforcement Academy are free to seek legal redress in line with labor laws. The Cabinet Secretary added that more officers are under similar investigations and those found guilty will face similar consequences.
The government remains adamant that all saboteurs of the forestry agenda must leave the service. On Thursday, Environment Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya said those shown the door can seek solace in the courts.
Anyone aggrieved is free to express any infringement of their rights, including labor laws. The individuals will be free to pursue whichever recourse they think they are entitled to.
Tuya said the government will weed out all the bad apples at the Kenya Forest Service.
Our forests are out of bounds for illegalities. Action will be taken so that Kenyans can also take us seriously when we say we want to plant 15 billion trees.
To stem runaway logging and ensure sustainability in the timber industry, Tuya said efforts are underway to sensitize Kenyans on the matter.
We will actually unpackage it for Kenyans to understand. We have to feed the needs of the timber industry in this country, but it has to be done sustainably.
The government has in the meantime admitted to receiving reports of intimidation of community forest associations in their efforts to flag corruption at the Kenya Forest Service. CS Tuya is urging Kenyans to reach out and help government to sustain the onslaught against malpractice in the management of Kenya's forests. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Tuache kudanganyana. Hapa mali safi, mali mbichi, kijani kibichi. Tuko Lucky Game, tunashibishana. Dial *570 hash. Chagua sanduku ya Lucky Game. Utapata sanduku 7 zinakungoja mahali pale. Chagua yako. Mali kibao, tuko na viti, tuko na vifriji hapa, tuko na TV, tuko na microwave, na pia tuko na chapa. All happening for *570 hash. Jishibishe.
These are the moments we live for every Friday as we catch up with the world of football.
Manchester City go in front.
With your favorite stars in rivalries like no other that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Learn a few tricks that keep you ahead of the game and spice it all with unforgettable moments on Dunda Dunda. On Saturday, you're in for another treat as we rock your weekend with all sporting disciplines, bringing you insights on what's happening behind the scenes as we share players and athlete stories, preparations, and celebrate their achievements.
Charging to the line! Is it going to be a world record? Yes, it is! She smashed it!
Whatever angle you look at, we've got you covered. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Yes, indeed, and thank you so much for joining us on Channel 1 Sports. I'm Bernard Okumu, and let's begin with the marathon, Stanchart Marathon, where over 178 million shillings has so far been raised in support of this year's edition of the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon, set to take place on the 29th of October in Nairobi. Over 100 elite athletes have already confirmed their participation in the annual event, which has attracted also other 500 runners.
This comes as the marathon commemorates its 20th anniversary since inception, with more than 270,000 runners having participated in the marathon and over 750 million being raised to support various initiatives that have impacted the society. Standard Chartered Kenya today announced a sponsorship of 100 million shillings towards this year's event. Speaking at today's function, Stanchart Marathon Local Organizing Committee Chairperson Peter Gitau stated that this year's edition will run smoothly as its all systems go ahead of the event.
So we are hoping to continue making our marathon a world-class event. The route has been measured and is going to be certified by AIMS, as part of the marathon event. And with that, you can then use the times that you use for the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon in international races.
He also urged athletes from different parts of the country to show up in large numbers to take part.
What we've tried to do this year, focus on, is the start times to make sure that there isn't congestion on the route. So there are different start times and the races are spread.
The Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon is set to take place on 29th of October 2023 here in Nairobi. For Prime Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Well, thank you so much, Dan Mwenda, for that. Moving on, the Central Island National Park in Lake Turkana basketry and desert are some of the tourist activities, or rather, I'll take a correct one here, where 100,000 Kenya shillings is at stake for the winner of the 8-kilometer desert wheelchair race, which will be held tomorrow in Lodwar, Turkana. The first runner-up will get 75,000 shillings, while the second runner-up will get 50,000 Kenya shillings. Now, while the second runner-up will get 50,000, the Director of Social Protection in the county, in Turkana County, Mark Amio Eanai, said all the systems have been put in place to ensure the participants are able to pick up their speeds on the course without any interference. Now, the wheelchair race is part of the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival to showcase how sports has played a unifying role in the county. The race is expected to start at Turkana University College and finish at Ekales, where the rest of the festivities are ongoing in Turkana County.
Everybody, that this race will be attended by 20 participants who will go for 8 kilometers. They will take, this is where, at the spot where we are, this is Turkana University, and they will move towards town. Then somewhere at around Baringo Road Junction, they will be heading right towards Ekale Center, where we'll be having the rest of cultural events.
And to soccer now, where the national under-20 women's soccer team Rising Starlets arrived in Luanda ahead of their return leg under-20 World Cup qualifier against Angola on Saturday. Rising Starlets won the first leg 6-1 in Nairobi last weekend and will be seeking to seal their spot in the third round.
Building Odemba's charges of their eyes set on the FIFA Under-20 World Cup qualifier, a pivotal face-off that could enhance their chances of securing their place in history. The Starlets' eye on morale after resounding with the host in the first leg encounter. The Rising Starlets delivered an electrifying performance, where star striker Valerie Nekesa emerged as the talk of the town with a splendid hat-trick, displaying a football finesse that few could match. Should Rising Starlets advance to the third round, they will face the winner of the second clash between Cameroon and Botswana. For Prime Edition, I'm Sela Onyango.
And over 500 athletes are expected to take part in this year's edition of the 12-kilometer cross-country run set to be held this Sunday, 15th of October in Kericho. Now, the event comes after a successful 15-kilometer Betika cross-country event, which were held last year in Iten and Kericho, respectively.
The event became favorite in budding athlete calendar in showcasing their talent and provide a chance to win substantial cash prizes. Over 500 athletes are expected to take part in the competition, where a total of 1,350,000 shillings is up for grab for the top 10 finishers in both men's and women's category, equally adding an extra layer of competition and excitement to the event. Overall winners among the men and women participants will pocket 250,000 shillings for their victories, while first and second runners-up will bag 150,000 shillings and 100,000 shillings respectively. Over 500 athletes are expected to take part in this year's edition. King Orimwangi for Prime Edition Sports.
And still on athletics, where King Charles III and Queen Camilla are expected to attend an event to celebrate the life and work of the Nobel laureate, the late Professor Wangari Maathai, together with Wangari's daughter Wanjira Maathai, read a communique from the British consular. Now, the main purpose of the event is to highlight the importance of mainstreaming environmental considerations into urban policy making. Now, this event will be an opportunity to amplify messages around the crucial role of green spaces and also forests in sustainable cities in addressing climate change, as well as celebrating the legacy of environmental voices such as the late Professor Wangari Maathai. Now, King Charles III and Queen Camilla's visit between October 31st to November 3rd coincides with celebrations launched on 25th of September 2023 by the Wangari Maathai Foundation to celebrate the work of the late Nobel laureate who passed away 12 years ago. Across the borders, the 2010 World Cup champions Spain will tonight take on Scotland in the Euro 2024 qualifier set to be played at the Estadio de la Cantuya in Sevilla. Now, Spain are currently second Group A with 9 points from 4 matches played so far.
Spain have undoubtedly improved from March, and their squad for this game is stronger than it was then, although Barcelona prospect Lamine Yamal has withdrawn after sustaining an injury. Manchester City's Rodri took part in training on Wednesday after missing City's defeat to Arsenal at the weekend after his red card against Wolves. Pedro Porro has started in the Premier League with Tottenham Hotspur this season, but has not been included, with veterans Dani Carvajal and Jesus Navas preferred at right back since Abdem. Scotland, on the other hand, are top of Group A with 5 wins from 5 games and need a point in Spain, or for Norway to slip up in Cyprus to clinch a spot at the next summer's final in Germany. In other matches, Croatia will take on Turkey as Cyprus play Norway.
Well, and on that Euro note, that's how we end the sports tonight, Cynthia.
Before we end, I have a question. What are the chances of the Rising Starlets?
Yes, and the Rising Starlets are in Angola to face their hosts. That's in the second leg of the Women's Under-20 World Cup qualifier. That's in Africa.
Yes.
So Kenya have won fit in the third round because they won 6-1 here in Nairobi last weekend, which is a very comfortable score, you know, going into the second leg. So with Beldino Demba, who's the head coach, guiding the team, I think they're almost there. What they need to do is just to make sure that they draw in Angola, and they'll be in the third round of the qualifiers.
Yes, so they're almost there, and we are wishing them all the best. From me and the rest of the team, we do want to wish you a very good night.
Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
Holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2023. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.ufaa.go.ke and get started. Beat the November 1st deadline. It is your turn to surrender and report qualifying unclaimed financial assets. Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
County Government of Turkana welcomes you to the Ehale Center in Lodo Town for the 7th edition of the Turkana Cultural and Tourism Festival. From 12th to the 14th of October 2023. Come, experience the origin of mankind with its unmatched beauty, from the beaches of Lake Turkana to the oil wells of Lokichar. Live on Channel 1, Radio Taifa and KBC Turkana Service.